So here in this street are all the cheeses protected by the slow food Presidium. So this cheese is made in a traditional way. They're hoping to preserve those methods. Or cheeses like this Caciocavallo here, made with milk from rare, sort of old-fashioned, I suppose, dairy animals. This one here is actually made with the milk from the Podolica cow.
Cheese is specifically for cheese producers that make cheese out of raw milk. In saying that, raw milk cheese is based on tradition. Producers that have tradition over generations made cheeses, whether it be in Italy, in regions of Italy, France, Spain, and it's about safeguarding those cheeses from standardized cheeses or industrial cheeses.
I've just found this Polish cheese. It's called Peck. It's in a slow food Presidium. It's protected. It's been made by shepherds up in the Tatra Mountains in Poland since about the 14th century. And when the cheeses are young, they press them with these traditional molds. They're really decorative, and they put this beautiful pattern onto the cheeses. It's almost like, I guess, a little decoration that you could hang on your Christmas tree and then take it off and eat it on Christmas Day. They're just gorgeous. Thank you so much.
In America, there may not have been a tradition, or a tradition may have been passed in from the United Kingdom, and it's been about, therefore, it's about reviving a traditional cheese in that context. We have producers here or cheesemongers that come in from the United Kingdom, Neals Yard, that have revived cheddar, whereas cheddar is more seen around the world today as an industrial cheese. Neals Yard has actually revived the making of traditional cheeses in the United Kingdom to then educate an audience that comes to cheese in regards to how a cheese is made in an English context and how it actually tastes afterwards.
Really interested to try this cheese. It's made with pig's rennet, which is a very traditional method in the village where it's made. Grazie.
1 year and 2 months.
1 year, 2 months? Oh, wow. It's amazing. And the Presidia de pork is traditional?
Yes, only in the south
Yes?
of Teramo and Pescara.
So I've just tried the Farandola Pecorino. It's the only cheese in the world to be made with pig's rennet as opposed to cow or sheep rennet. Not really sure what I was expecting. Very nice cheese. I thought maybe there'd be a flavour coming from the pig rennet, but it's just a very nice pecorino. So traditionally for these villages, once the pig was slaughtered for meat, they would keep the stomach, use that to store wine and acid, and then after a few months they would cut that stomach up and use it to set the cheese. So pig rennet, only one in the world. This is Samanta Borrelia. It's often called the wedding cheesecake because it's made with these little layers, so they make different cheeses and then they join them together and mature them like that. The description says lingering notes of chestnuts and herbs. It's certainly a very strong cheese. There's definitely a sort of very almost like burnt almond skin type of flavour lingering. It's interesting. It's cheese that the taste is completely unfamiliar.
The significance of our cheese event, which is held every 2 years, is to actually show the consumer, or how slow food refers to as the co-consumer, to actually show producers on a small scale production of how they produce a food in context with environmental care. So they're looking after the land when they produce the cheese. Also they look after the animals when they actually make the cheese, to the extent of actually supporting the community from an economic perspective, but also from a social perspective.
So this is the Marcelina, and it's quite an old recipe, and it almost died out. There was one cheesemaker left, and the cheesemaker taught other people in the region just recently to start making the cheese again. So this is a really good example of cheeses that are in the slow food Presidium and how they're trying to protect the traditional methods for cheese making. Grazie. And then this one here, the Krusty grandfather, is 2 years. So you see the impact that the aging has on the rind here, starting to break it down and create an amazingly strong, rich flavour. It wouldn't do them justice to pair them with anything, just to eat them as they are and enjoy the flavour. It's like a pine cone honey. It's got that richness like a chestnut honey would have. So the slow food Presidium protects a lot of different foods, not just cheese. I'm just trying a pecorino fiore sardo from Sardinia. A lot of the time now it's an industrial cheese, but this one's in the Presidium because it's made by the shepherd. And the flavour is amazing. It's so rich, so complex. It's really lovely.
So Slow Food's philosophy is about looking after the producer, educating the consumer. With all of that, we do that in a number of ways. Like we have our stands where the producers have a direct link in selling their produce, to taste workshops where a person goes into a taste workshop and actually gets to taste a food, normally accompanied by wine or something to drink, and then the person's actually educated with that product with a number of people that are experts. So with that, we also have children activities. Slow food education is about educating children about the production of food, but also how to cook food and how to eat food. In our society, how Slow Food believes is that we're losing that connection between food, community and people. So with all of our events and all of our education, we try and make that connection, in a fun way of course, to be able to ensure that what we take into the future is to sustain small-scale farmers, our health, education of children, to be able to ensure there's a healthy future.
Sono proprio piccoli.